What's up guys, how's it going? And we're getting closer and closer to the actual ranked season. So today I will provide you with another tier list, and this time I have a synergy tier list for you. I think a synergy tier list is especially great because you get an idea what's strong, what's weak, and what can you use in the mid game if you're not sure what to include next while you're setting up your end game composition. What I thought about when I made this tier list is how strong are the units within the synergy, how hard is the synergy actually to get, and how good is it just standalone. So what I have for you is this sweet little table here. I know the symbols itself might not tell you what the synergy does, but I'm actually just talking about every synergy from top to bottom, and let's just get started. My first synergy, strength-wise, is the Shadow synergy. Well, mainly because the Shadow units are super strong. The synergy is basically buffed Imperials because it scales very nicely with items, and it wins you games pretty easily. Next off, we have the poisons. Why are poisons so high rated? Mainly because it's a mega strong late game synergy, and Singed is a unit. Singed is so strong. It's for me the strongest unit in the game currently. And well, if you have poison, your opponent's units need 50% more mana to cast spells, and that's actually just insane. I really hope they nerf that. I addressed it also in my last video. Next off, we have the Cloud synergy. The main reason why we have Clouds so highly rated is the Iceborne Gauntlet and the easily splashable units. You just need 2 Clouds, and if you are able to roll a Cloud Lux, well, then you can just win games with it because you get a huge Yordle buff on your entire team. Very nice synergy. Next off, we have the Summoners. Main reason why Summoners are at S tier. It's the units itself are very strong. You have Yorick being insane, Malzahar being a shadow summoner, and you can just splash them in super easy. If you're talking about S tier units, they mainly just address all of the factors I talked about earlier. These synergies are so sweet, and you can almost run them every lineup. What we also have at the A tier is the Blademasters. Well, I made some tier lists already earlier this month. I think Blademasters are mainly so strong because you can easily splash them in. The strength itself might not be the biggest, but just having a Rageblade carry and make him a Blademaster that scales so well, I think Blademasters are great, and also Master Yi being a top-end carry makes it even better. What I have rated next are the Berserkers. Berserkers are mainly there because of Olaf, and one of the strongest endgame compositions at the moment uses Olaf with poison. Olaf is certainly too strong, and therefore I have the Berserkers very highly rated. Next off, we have the Lights. Lights are mainly here because 6 light compositions with hyper rolling are so strong. Nothing else to be said. I would not splash in 3 lights. I think it's mainly because the 6 light endgame composition with the Vayne carry is super strong. Next off, we have the Electrics. I think 4 Electrics are crazy. They can just win you games. I don't think 2 Electrics too great, but 3 Electrics are actually pretty reasonable. It's mainly there for the endgame strength. Electrics, I in the beginning didn't rate them very high, but nowadays I would say, since it's a game-winning synergy, definitely A tier. Next off, we have Assassins. I rated Assassins a bit lower because there's no current counter to Phantom Dancer. If Phantom Dancer wouldn't be a thing, I probably would put Assassins into the S tier. I think Assassin units are quite great, and especially 6 Assassins are crazy. And Diana being a unit, for me, Diana is the strongest early game drop. I think Assassins definitely deserve the A tier last spot. Next off, we have the Mages. Why are Mages rated B tier? I think Mages itself are pretty strong and reasonable, but poison just drags them down too much. I also made this tier list a bit dependent on the endgame synergies, on what counters it, and if they actually nerf poison, I think Mages would be at least A tier, maybe S tier if there would be better compositions for it. Rangers. I don't think Ranger synergy is the greatest, but the Ranger units are pretty decent. If you have a hyper carry Vayne or you have Kindred and you include 2 Rangers, I think that can be super reasonable if you're missing the attack speed items. I think Rangers are nowadays still quite reasonable. They used to be pretty broken on the PvE. The next two synergies, Desert and Mystic, are mainly just splash synergies. You run them if you see the opponents are running Wardens, for example. You want to just decrease their armor, or you want to have some magic resistance. I would not build my compositions around 4 Mystics or 4 Desert. I think you just run 2 of those. You can run 4 Mystics if the opponent you're facing in the end is super magic heavy. You can do that. That's possible and good. Next off, we have the Infernals. I have them mainly there because Infernal Singed can be super strong, and I think also Infernal early game is a reasonable synergy. It's just a little bit lower rated because the Infernal Hexes, they just stay for a while and it doesn't really win you games. Maybe if you get 9 Infernals, but let's not talk about that. A bit too far. Too far. Well, last off we get to the C tier, and I also have an early game tier. The C tier are just synergies which are sweet. I think Ocean, it's discussable because if you have actually a very highly mana dependent team like mages, for example, it can be quite usable. It can also counter poison sometimes. I just haven't found a composition where I'm like really needing the Oceans. So I think they are only really good in 6 mage comps because the ultimate attacks are so strong. The only problem at the moment are the poisons dragging every spellcaster comp down. Next off we have the Wardens. That's just a splash synergy. I almost never play them. I play them if they are for free. If you have like Nautilus Fresh, for example, that can be useful. And the next two, Steel. I play that sometimes if I have a Nocturne carry, otherwise I pretty much ignore that. I mean, if you play Predator Assassin in the beginning, you can use that. And the Crystal synergy I mainly ignore because Crystal would be really strong if Ash would be strong. If you have a strong Crystal carry, I think it can be insane because it's basically a nice defensive item. So you can just put offensive items only on an Ash, and then she has Crystal synergy and it's hard to kill. I also made a table for just early game synergies. I was not sure where to put these. I think they're nice to splash in the Woodlands. They're so good early, guys. I would cut them mostly after the Wolves. But early, if you get free Woodlands and you can upgrade them, sometimes you can even hyper roll them and go into Assassin composition. I think they are so strong. I will also make some compositions for you guys where you have an idea what is very strong in the end, just setup wise. But nowadays you will just stay with this. I think Woodlands are really strong. You just should drop them at some point. We also have Predators. Predators are also very good early game. That finishing blow can be so useful. And you can just, if you have Kog'Maw in the early game, if you give him a static shift, these items actually count as an execute. Super nice. I love it early game. I think late game, it falls off a little bit, but you still run it in the Predator Berserker composition. Mountain, I pretty much just play when I get a Mountain Hex field because Kiana is a mountain then. And then early game, it can be actually super useful. So when it comes to a synergy tier list, that's pretty much what I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got some valuable information out of this. If you liked the video, drop a like below, and also you're welcome to drop a comment below. Maybe you want to see something in the following videos. I will read that certainly. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Have a nice day, guys.